Yeah, one sec. How much is it? $4,000. Yeah, don't worry about it. I'm gonna do it myself. That was the dealership that called. They quoted me $4,000 for all the maintenance I'm about to show you in this video. I paid $550 for the parts, so you can do the math. First thing we wanna do is lift the car up, make sure it's level. This will help with a lot of the maintenance items we have coming up. Okay, service item number 4, brake fluid flush. We have this Pentosine Super Dot 4. Now the service interval is every 2 years, regardless of the mileage. The brake fluid will absorb moisture from the air. I wanna do the 2-person method. I'm gonna ask my dad to pump the brakes while I open and close the bleeder screw. I made a detailed video in one of my previous videos. We wanna clean the brake fluid reservoir cap off. I cleaned everything around here as well, so none of it gets in there. Get this little net. If you notice here, the design of the reservoir prevents you from draining the old brake fluid from the top. What I'm going to do is drain the old fluid without topping this off until it gets to the minimum line, because I don't want air bubbles into the system, but I also don't want to mix new fluid with the old fluid. We'll see the bleeder screw right here. It's got a dust cover on. All right. We have our brake fluid catch can. We're gonna put the hose on. We're gonna need an 11mm wrench, and then righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. All right, Dad, I'm ready. Open, close, okay, open, close. All right, I don't know if you can see that, but we're at minimum now. I don't wanna suck any air into the system. So we're gonna top the reservoir all the way up with the new brake fluid, and then we'll just be sure to do a little bit of extra bleeding. Make sure you use a new bottle of brake fluid. A very important note throughout this entire time, you want to keep checking the reservoir levels because you never want it to run dry and suck air into the system. I do want to drain this old brake fluid. As you can see, it's pretty dirty, but it'll give me a better idea of when the new brake fluid is going to start coming out. Hopefully you can see the color difference. I can see that there's clear fluid that's coming out now. I want to top off the reservoir, and we're going to keep bleeding the brakes. Now once we're done bleeding the 4 corners, we top off the reservoir. It looks to me like it's right at the max line now, so that's perfect. We're going to put this little dust cover, whatever this is, we're going to close it, and that's it for the brake fluid flush. All right, now we're doing service number 5, drive belt inspection / replacement. That's the drive belt, belt tensioner, and idler pulley, which is all right here. Inspected at 100,000 miles, replaced if there are cracks, glazing, or wear. What we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to take this engine mount off, the top engine mount here as well, the side one. And the way we need to do that is we're gonna remove this coolant reservoir. We're actually doing this item simultaneously with item number 6, coolant flush. You need to do every 10 years or 100,000 miles. The coolant capacity for this full system is 8.2 quarts. You can see where the engine belt is at. You can see the idler pulley is right there in the middle, the small one. There's the little red drain plug, and then you're just gonna let the coolant drain. We unscrewed the coolant reservoir to give it some air. Drained. We wanna close this. We're gonna disconnect these little wires. We're gonna pull this pin out. Now it should be sitting on a rubber grommet. Now once that is out of the way, we have some working space. Slowly but surely we'll get to the bottom of this. No. We just want enough support for the engine to remove this top engine mount and this one in the middle right here. How many do we have? I'm gonna get a longer extension. And if it's not obvious, the impact gun is so worth it. Oh yeah, we're gonna do the other one as well. There you go. Good job, Dad. Final bolt is out. Next, what you wanna do, get this out of here. Now we are gonna check the motor mounts. The engine mount looks good. There's a little bit of tearing that's going on, but the bulk of it is intact. For now, we're gonna reuse them. And now we have access to the belt tensioner. Seems good, nice and strong. I'm going to put some sort of little tool to lock this in place. Now we got the belt off. the belt is starting to crack. It's a good thing that we're doing it. Yeah, we're replacing it on time. The tensioner seems like it's still got a nice strong pull on it, but if you listen to the pulley that's with the tensioner, you can hear it moving side to side, the wobble or the click. Same thing with the idler pulley. It's a good idea that we're going to replace this as well. As you can see, it kind of just disintegrated itself. There you go. That's 25 Newton meters. Now we're going to go up top. We're going to remove the tensioner. There's 3 E12s that are holding this. Let's see. There we go. You can hear it rattling. Oh, it's the same brand. So Lin's is the same brand I bought. This is just marked as a Mercedes brand. Same manufacturer. See? Lin. Now we're going to put this back in. I won't be able to fit this one, so I'm just going to hand tighten it. Now we're going to put the belt back on. So this is the wiring diagram that I found that looks exactly like what we just pulled off. You want to measure the old and the new. You want to make sure it's the same length. I don't know if you can see, but this is the old one. So you can see the cracks here. This is the new one. I think this might have some fiberglass or something because I'm itching. Because the belts have ribs, you want to make sure that it lines up in each of the pulleys. You don't want there to be any overhang. You got to do some persuading. That's perfect. All we need to do is pull this pin out and then just release. Now I'm going to make sure everything is sitting flush. Everything is looking good to me. Everything looks good underneath as well. It's fantastic. Now we're going to put everything back in reverse order. And now since we're doing a coolant or radiator flush, pour some distilled water into there. On this car, we want to make sure that the reservoir lid is open. We're going to turn the car on. We're going to run it to operating temperature. And we're going to let the air bubbles bleed and circulate. You also want to turn on the heat all the way up. That way it'll send the coolant into the heater core and it'll get the fluid circulating through the system. You want to make sure that nothing is touching the belts over here. And this will be a perfect window for us to see how the belt works. Okay, moment of truth. Yes. It's always so rewarding. So we bought 2 of these. These are the Xerox G40 50-50 mix. It's pre-diluted. If you're buying the concentrated version, then what you want to do is mix it with distilled water. As you can see here, Mercedes-Benz 2014 to present. So we're going to start the car. We're going to turn the heat all the way up. We'll watch until the bubbles start coming out. You can see that the distilled water is changing colors because it's starting to mix with the old coolant. You want to keep an eye out for the temperature. Once it gets to the middle, the coolant should start flowing through the system. So now I'm going to turn it off, drain the system, and do it all over again. We're going to drain the coolant that I've already got from the first flush. If you're a younger generation, don't drink it. It is toasty in here. We just want this temperature line to be at half, and that way we know the car is up to operating temperature. We'll check the reservoir, close off the cap. There's a little plastic tab right in the middle. You want to make sure that the coolant level is above that. If it goes below that, you'll get a warning, top off your coolant. All we have left to do is button everything up. Item number 7, spark plugs. Now, I actually did this last oil service because I don't think they were ever done before and the car was idling rough. You should replace them every 50,000 miles or 5 years. I did film it, but my camera died. When you're doing the spark plugs, you're gonna be taking off the inlet pipe. You wanna check for oil leaks around the turbo, boost hose condition, intake track cleanliness. What that means is like there's no oil in there, you know, make sure that there's nothing inside. Interior look great, so I don't think there's any turbo oil leak or anything like that in this car. The spark plugs were a little bit tedious, not difficult, just you gotta take off kind of a lot of the wires and all this stuff. Our next item to check is brakes. Now, you know, the rotors look great. There was a little bit of rust from the rain and just sitting there. Once we start driving, it'll all come off. There's no lip or anything that I can feel with my fingers. The brake pads have brake pad sensors, so the car will let you know when they need to be replaced. Everything looks good here. I'm gonna check the 3 other corners. Now the rears don't typically get used as much as the front. That looks good to me. Service item number 10, suspension and steering. Everything looks intact, feels good. Everything feels and looks good here. No leaking. The ride is good. I'm gonna double check all the rest of the corners. That looks good. All the bushings look good. I mean, again, 100,000 miles, you know, mainly highway miles. So I don't think we're gonna see a lot of wear and tear on the suspension items. You know, everything looks good here. Service item number 11, tires and alignment. We're gonna inspect for any uneven wear. So I typically rotate my tires every time I do an oil service. If I notice any uneven wearing, I'll consider an alignment. I also made a tire pressure video. So if you have uneven tire wear, that also could be because of the wrong tire pressure. We're gonna check the tire pressure as well, because I know that they're low. Tire depth still looks all right. Right in the middle of the tire, there's like a little rubber step. If you're anywhere close to that, then you need to replace them. But I think there's a little bit more tire life left in these. The wear looks pretty even to me, so I think the alignment's all right. This one's pretty bad. I don't know if you can see, but there's some inner wear right here. So I think this tire needs to be replaced. I'm gonna go to Discount Tire and get these checked out. All right, so we're at Discount Tire. We're gonna get a reading on the tires and see if we need to replace them.
The left front's at a 6, right front's at a 5, left rear's at a 5, and then this right rear is the worst one, which is at a 2.
And then is it even all the way across?
The left rear it is. The left front, it's even all the way across. This one's the worst one. 2 on the inner, 4 at the middle, and then 3 on the outer side.
Is that an alignment issue, you think, or?
It could be.
Yeah.
Especially with like European cars, they tend to have like a little bit of camber already to it.
Go ahead and do all 4.
Doing all 4 just because you get the most traction out of them.
Okay.
It's always better to do at least 2 if you don't want to replace all 4 of them.
Is it 2 30 seconds that you guys recommend replacing them? That's when it's at red, or?
We recommend replacing them at 4.
Okay.
So anything in the yellow, once you get to the red, you're pretty much having little to no traction at all.
Yeah, okay.
This is where you're starting to lose most of it.
Okay, 4, okay. Got it. So we're going to throw the wheel on, and we're going to thread them all on by hand. We're going to tighten them in a cross pattern to 96 foot-pounds. And there we go. We're going to do the same thing for the rest of the wheels. We're on the home stretch. And now I'm going to put the car all the way down. We're going to torque down the front wheel lug nuts. I already did the back ones. Cold tire pressure, PSI is 44. I set it to 44, and then we're going to wait until it shuts off. We're going to do the same thing for the rest of the wheels. Don't forget your tire pressure valve cap. Now I'm getting excited because we're on the final stretch, and we're on 23 hours of working this weekend. So moving on to number 12, differential fluid flush. Now this only applies if you have all-wheel drive. Now, if you do have all-wheel drive, you'll have a diff in the rear. I'll show you where, but since we have a front-wheel drive, it doesn't apply to us. All right, so if you have all-wheel drive, you'll have a diff right here. Let me see if I can find a car. See that little silver piece right there? Rear-wheel drive, so tomatoes, tomatoes. Item number 13, cabin air filter. You want to replace it every 15 to 20,000 miles. It's in the passenger footwell. Should take only a couple of minutes. This is the air filter. Up in the footwell right there are 2 latches in the back. And all you want to do is just unclip one, unclip the other side. Oh, that is dirty. I replaced this like a year ago, so say 15 to 20,000 miles, depending on the environment you travel in. There's this little tab right here. We're just gonna pull this out. All right. As you can see, this is what 20,000 miles looks like. Here's our new one. So all we're gonna have to do is put it in the same way we found it. And you just want to be gentle with it. We're gonna take our lid. You see these little tabs right here? They actually go right into the back of here. So we're gonna put the back in first, and then all we have to do is close it the rest of the way until you hear the clicks. So we're gonna move on to number 15, come back to 14. Number 15, timing chain inspection. So from what I've read, this has a timing chain, but the earlier models actually have chain tensioner failures. So you want to listen to when the car starts up if there's any rattle. Now, I'll be honest, I already did this when it first started up. When I just changed the oil, it was rattling pretty noisy. Now it's normal for there to be some chain noise. What you don't want to hear is like chain slap or rattle. What we're going to do is start it up. We're going to listen, and we're going to see if we can hear anything abnormal. Mercedes-Benz. As you can hear, there's a little bit of a chain noise. I think we're good. I don't hear anything super loud, anything abnormal. Now the final step before I put the engine cover on, and yes, the Mercedes logo, as I was wiping off this cover, completely disintegrated. I didn't even put a lot of pressure, I was just wiping it with a rag. I just want to take my flashlight, wherever it is, just do it once over and make sure that there's no oil leaks, no coolant leaks. We also want to make sure that there's nothing else that's going on. I'm going to top off the windshield washer fluid, and that'll be it. Drum roll, please. And that, my friends, is the job well done. Close the hood. Just drop it. I realized my microphone was off for the last couple of scenes, maybe. So hopefully the audio came through. Item number 16, we're going to do a fuel system cleaning. Now this one has a fuel filter inside the gas tank. So it's an internal one. It's going to be difficult to try to replace it. We still want to make sure that the fuel system is clean. So what I got instead is Seafoam fuel system cleaner. Next time I'm going to go fill up, I'm going to pour this in first, and then I'm going to top it off with good gas. Can't believe I'm saying this. And the very last item, clean and lubricate the sunroof rails. I took my shoes off, obviously. We're going to put some new gloves on. So what we're gonna do is just take a nice clean shop towel. We're gonna wipe off any of the old grease, the sunroof rail. All right, what we have is silicone grease. This isn't the Mercedes-Benz grease. Now that grease is $161 for a big tub. That's all you can get. There's some online stores. It wasn't gonna come in time. This is perfectly fine from what I've researched. Other manufacturers use silicone grease. So we're gonna use our finger to apply it and spread it. You don't want too much. You just want it enough to be able to lubricate the rails. If you do too much of this, dirt and stuff will stick to it. Also wanna put some on this for when the sunroof slides over. I also wanna get inside these rails. Honestly, this is working pretty well with my fingers. So, all right, that should be good. We're gonna do the other side now. So we're done. We're gonna open and close the sunroof a couple of times. I will say, I don't know if this is a placebo effect, but it does seem like it's opening and closing a lot easier. All right, we want to test the brakes. We're going to take it easy while the car's still warming up to temperature. Driving for a good solid 20 minutes now, and everything feels good. Transmission shifts good. The brakes feel good, so we're good. Thanks so much for watching. We just hit 24 hours. We're finally done. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you want to see more future videos like this, hit the subscribe button. It's completely free, and I'll see you in the next one.